Are you ready?
Yes, go.
I'd like to call the order the October 22nd Planning and Zoning Commission meeting. Tara, would you please read the roll call?
Yes. Ferris,
Here.
Wordeman. Here. Marmon. Ritchie. Darling. Decker.
Here.
Weiss.
Here.
Nate.
Here.
Piper.
Here. Thank you. Item 3, agenda approval. I'd entertain a motion to approve the agenda for this meeting.
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda for the October 22nd, 2024 meeting.
I'll second.
Thank you. Tara? We don't need to call the roll for that, do we?
Normally do, but I will if you want me to.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Thank you. Item 4, approval of the minutes of the October 8th meeting.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes for October 8th meeting. Second.
Thank you.
Roll call.
Yes, please.
Okay. Ferris,
Yes.
Wordeman.
Yes.
Decker.
Yes.
Weiss.
Yes.
Nate. Piper.
Yes.
Item 5 is public comment, and this is for anyone who wants to comment on any item that's not on the agenda. If you want to comment on one of the agenda items, you'll be called on when that comes up. So is there anyone that wants to comment on anything relevant that's not on the agenda? Bob, is that you?
Yeah. Yep.
Do you want to comment?
I think we're good. We're good.
Oh, okay.
Coming on. Yeah.
Okay, hearing none, we'll move on to item 6, new business. A, approval of the final plat for West to Life, the Village Plat 1. Bill?
Thank you. So here we have request for an approval of a final plat for Wesley Life, the Village Plat 1. At your last meeting, you heard the site plan and the preliminary plat for this project. This is putting those final pieces into place to get those lots platted so they can begin construction. And the property is located north of West Iowa Avenue and east of North Jefferson Way. And the total area of the two properties is just under 33 acres. The property is currently zoned PUD. And it's surrounded by R2 on all 4 sides. This was rezoned some time ago to allow for varying setbacks of different degrees and things of that nature, so they can extend Indianola Drive, install some duplex units, and then install a multifamily apartment complex and some other building improvements to the existing facility. So those were approved at the September 24th, 2024 meeting. And the plat includes the extension of Indianola Drive there to the north. And then, again, a series of 5-foot trails will be installed throughout the plat to provide pedestrian access. They're also providing a pedestrian walkway from the public sidewalk into the site, just to help facilitate pedestrian access from the neighboring areas into the site and vice versa. The site will be provided with all public utilities that exist in the immediate vicinity. They'll just be extended as needed to provide access or provide a service to the new buildings there. So the final plat is in general conformance with all of our ordinances, the subdivision ordinance, the comprehensive plan. Staff does recommend approval of the final plat, subject to remaining staff comments, and happy to take any questions. Also, the engineer of record is on Zoom.
Questions from commission members? I have one. Is there a sidewalk along Northeast Street? Will there be a sidewalk along East Street?
Yeah.
Thank you. Other questions? Entertain a motion. Do you have a question? I'm sorry.
Well, looking back at it, I was just looking at documents from February. It looked like there was a pedestrian pathway that came off of the new extension of Angela Drive on the cul-de-sac. that led to the parking lot. Is that still happening? Cause I don't see that on this final plat.
The final plat wouldn't show any pedestrian walkways. That would have been shown on the preliminary and final plats that were, no, I'm sorry, the preliminary and the site plan that were shown a couple of weeks ago.
Okay.
This is just for utility easements and lot dimensions.
Okay, there's one shown on the end of the cul-de-sac on Robin Glen Drive, so that's what made me ask about it.
Yeah, that pedestrian walkway will be off of East Street coming into the site from the east.
Okay.
Anything else? Motion, please.
I'll motion to approve the final plat as submitted.
A second?
Second.
Roll call, please.
Harris,
Yes.
Wortman,
Yes.
Stecker,
Yes.
Weiss,
Yes.
Nate,
Yes.
Piper.
Yes.
Item 6B, approval of final plat for Kentucky Ridge Townhouses Plat 1. Bill?
Thank you. The owner and applicant in this case is the Inception Group LLC. They are represented by Eric Cannon with Snyder and Associates. They are requesting approval of a final plat for a townhome residential subdivision located south of East Kentucky Avenue and east of North Jefferson Way. The site contains approximately 6.77 acres in area and is currently zoned PUD as it was rezoned to PUD several months ago. On the north and the south are C2 districts, and then to the east and to the west are both planning development districts. This site plan identifies 51 lots. There are posted stamp lots. The 52nd lot is, I can't see it with this, but this entire lot is lot 52. That will be sold for future development. The common area within the townhome units is platted as an outlot for a common area. That includes the access drives and some utilities and things like that. These lots all meet our postal stamp requirements. Overall, the final plat is in conformance with our subdivision ordinance. The 5-foot sidewalk will be constructed on the south side of Kentucky Avenue. And then the 5-foot pedestrian walkways are shown throughout the plat to provide some pedestrian access there. Site will be serviced with all public utilities. Stormwater detention will be, it feels like I'm presenting the site plan again, but the site or the stormwater will be underneath the pickleball court with an underground detention area. All easements have been shown on the final plat. We've got lot 52 there, which will be the future commercial area. And then here are the dimensions and such of the 51 townhome unit lots. Staff does recommend approval of the final plat for Kentucky Ridge Townhomes Plat 1, subject to remaining staff comments. Happy to take any questions. Also, Eric Cannon is on Zoom tonight if you have any questions for him.
Yeah. Is the HOA gonna be responsible for those streets? Since there's no street names on them, I assume they're not gonna become city streets.
Yeah, this is Eric Keenan with Snyder and Associates. If you can hear me here, they would be private streets owned and maintained by the association.
On the revised final plat that they resubmitted, the streets are on there. It's Inception Drive and Derby Lane or.
But they're gonna be private streets, so the HOA will be responsible for maintenance.
Yes,
Snow removal, et cetera.
Yeah, so we asked that they put notes on the final plat down in this area, and it assigns ownership and maintenance of those common areas, the stormwater areas, open space areas. So it's on the final plat there.
And just out of curiosity, not that it's gonna affect my decision, but I see the lots are, okay, so they're for each individual townhome is gonna be its own lot.
Correct.
Does that include the driveway?
Yes.
Okay, so the owner will be responsible for the driveway, but the HOA will be responsible for the streets.
Correct. These will all be owner occupied units, and they'll be responsible for the sidewalks or not the sidewalk, the driveways in front of their units.
Thank you.
I have a question. I know when this first was brought up, the coffee shop there in the corner, does this have access or any type of roadway in throughout the coffee shop to create better accessibility for that aim for the community there.
Eric, do you want to touch on this one?
Yeah, I can. If you look on the plat on the first page, you'll see that there was a 60-foot ingress egress easement platted just to the east of Scooters there to allow for the opportunity for a relocated driveway if the city wanted to work with that property owner to potentially relocate that into this new drive location that's planned for kind of the commercial area on this project. So we've provided the ability to do that with an ingress egress easement if they did want to relocate that driveway to the east.
Thank you.
Anything else? Any other questions? Motion?
I will make a motion to, that we recommend approval of the, final plat.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Good. Tara?
Piper,
Yes.
Nate,
Yes.
Vice,
Yes.
Stecker,
Yes.
Waterman,
Yes.
and Ferris.
Yes. Moving along, 6C, approval of the final plat for Emerald Bay Plat 1.
So this is a request from Emerald Bay LLC, represented by Wally Peltz with Peltz Design Services. The applicant is requesting approval of a final plat for the overall Emerald Bay development. You heard last night, we took a site plan, our first site plan in this development. So we're trying to work through, bringing more residential and commercial business to this area. But here's the final plat. It shows 10 lots. It's located at the intersection of Hillcrest and Jefferson Way there. It's zone planned unit development. The preliminary plat was approved by you folks at your February 27th, 2024 meeting, and then council approved the preliminary plat at their March 4th, 2024 meeting. The final plat identifies 10 lots. The 3 lots here along Jefferson Way are all commercial, and then the other 7 will be residential, different forms of multifamily townhomes, duplexes, row house, apartment complex, things of that nature. The lots range in size from 0.58 acres to 5.10 acres. So all lots meet or exceed the underlying zoning designations for which they were rezoned from to the PUD. The plat includes the construction of 3 public streets. So there's Scenic Valley Avenue, Buxton, and then Trail Ridge. A 5-foot sidewalk will be installed along the west side of Jefferson Way with individual lot development. And then a 10-foot trail will be installed on the south side of Trail Ridge, and that will be done with plat improvements. All utilities will be extended as needed to service these lots when they become buildable. Stormwater detention will occur in this part of the plat here with a wet basin. The final plat is in general conformance with our subdivision ordinance and conference plan. We do recommend approval of the final plat for Emerald Bay Plat 1, subject to remaining staff comments. Happy to take any questions. Also, the developer is in attendance tonight if you have any questions for him.
Commissioners have any questions?
The only question that I have is related to, I'm not great at visualizing before and after on a flat page, just related to the final grading. Does it match up to what was on the preliminary plat? That's what we were expecting. It's just a very significant slope, so I wanted to confirm.
You get the answer you wanted?
I saw a head nod.
Oh,
Yep.
okay.
Sorry.
Anybody else have any questions? I have a question about lots X, Y, and Z.
Outlots?
Who's gonna be responsible for those in the long term? Name and address, please, Wally.
Absolutely. Good evening, Honorable Chair, members of the commission. Wally Peltz with Peltz Design Services, 2323 Dixon Street, Des Moines, Iowa, 50316. Those outlots, the L-shaped one, as you know, is that parkland dedication that we're doing that has the water feature in it, as well as an area to develop a park. The one to the downstream side is an outlot for, I believe that was going to go to the city for the stormwater infrastructure that we're putting in per First, SUDAS, so you guys can service it. And then the outlot in the corner was a small area for the townhomes or the row homes. Should they choose to put something like a gazebo, or it was more of a green space kind of reservation. That will be decided when the HOAs are developed. Because the plat right now, we're not doing any true subdividing per smaller lots. It's all per that PUD, breaking it up into the pieces.
Outlot Z. Is that gonna be retained, or or do you envision that being transferred to the city?
Which one was outlot Z? Is that this
That's where the water feature is going to be, that's where the.
going to exit?
Excuse me?
Is that the one off to the west that's exiting? I didn't bring my reader glasses in, so I can't.
Well,
Looks like it's where the L kind of is.
Yeah, that one is gonna be owned, but that's the parkland dedication,
but who's gonna own it?
the city.
The city has agreed to take it?
Well, I assume if it's a park, that's what, that you would own it as parkland, yes.
But has the city agreed to take it?
I would believe so. That was part of our PUD agreement when we put that together.
Really?
Yeah, I thought I distinctly remember you commenting that the plat across the street's only giving 0.2 acres for parkland, and we were given 2 point some acres for
Right, but I
parkland.
didn't indicate the city was gonna take it.
Typically, when you donate a park, that becomes the city's property.
They don't have to accept it, do they? The reason I'm asking these questions is because there's gonna be a dam there, right? To pound that water feature?
Oh, yeah, it's part of the street structure, correct?
And so the city would have responsibility for the maintenance of that?
In turn, what kind of maintenance are you?
Every dam in the world requires maintenance.
Sure, you wanna mow it, you want vegetation on it. The way we've designed it is that road creates that berm. The outlet structure is actually into the pond that controls the stormwater. It's about, 30 feet off the shore.
Well, seems to me it's something that needs to be clarified with have you talked to the parks people? Have they agreed to that?
Bill, do you have the notes in is there a note that indicates that the preliminary plat had a specific designation of that we could confirm?
I would
Put me on the spot.
just put these notes in here, but
I can speak to it a little bit here. Jesse Rognes, Indianola, Iowa, 12509 Fulton Street. So in the beginning, when we laid this out, we met mainly with Charlie and his team and talked about walking trails and a few other features that are being built into this. At that time, we were given the impression that that would be dedicated to the city. So if it's not, if they don't want it, that's probably a conversation we'd have to have, but right now, that was our intention, is to dedicate it to the city along with the green space.
Seems to me that.
The dam, when the road goes over top of what you're calling the dam structure, so and that's all being built pursued as, that'll be public street. There's, the outfall pipe, so I don't really know what maintenance of the dam there would be besides mowing on the slopes.
Okay, it seems to me that's something you better clarify with the city council, because what that means is they're agreeing to take on a financial obligation there.
right, as part of parkland dedication, the city would take over ownership of that park and then maintenance of it, but I can confirm that for the next meeting.
Yeah. If I were them, I'd want to be careful about that. But that's not my decision. I'm not on the council, but small parks are expensive.
Get that clarified for you.
Now, that doesn't really affect this any approval of this plat though, does it?
No,
So, long story short, if the city does not want to accept the park as a donation,
it's
whoever owns the land still has to maintain it, is that what I'm?
yeah, it turns into maybe an NOA.
HOA, is there gonna be an HOA?
There will be on,
We'll be stuck with it.
yeah, depending on how the different areas are built out, there'll be potentially multiple different HOAs for those zones. I would say definitely a conversation that Wally and I will get with Bill and the rest of the team right away, because part of the size and everything we did and some of the conversations we had of what might be there in the future and what we would work into part of a development agreement and build day one was why it was set up the way it was and the size it is and everything. So I think there's probably a conversation, because there's also some internal walking trails that we'd showed. And we'd showed some like gabion wall around so that there could be fishing and stuff like that, pavilions, walking trails. So it's kind of like a little park community area that everybody in the area could use.
Jesse, that should be called out in the development agreement. I would
Yes,
think what that is.
it is in the development agreement specifically.
That it is to be dedicated to the city.
I'm not sure.
that question
He's picked up on.
I know,
Just like,
that's
so
hard
when we were
transition.
dealing with Charlie, I don't know if we were quite that far, but as far as the details of everything that was gonna be built into it, was talked about. Whereas who's gonna own it, I think it was talked about. I assume it was the city. If it's not, it's a conversation, we'll just have to go down that pathway, so.
Yeah, I just wanna get
It doesn't change
get
anything
it
for
out there and
tonight,
get it
but-
clarified, because just because you give somebody something doesn't mean they're gonna take it. So I
Well,
think.
maybe
it's
that's
worth
why,
resolving.
maybe that's why some of the other developers are trying to give away small parks. If you want a much smaller park and then you'll take it, then I could make that retail lot a little bigger than maybe.
it says on the final plat, Outlot Z is to be dedicated to the city, so.
Gus, there's a lot of transition that's taken place. Helpful to make sure, I'm sure it's included in the development agreement, but if it's not specifically called out there, maybe just a point to note that it would be helpful to make sure that it's called out there.
And I'm open to dialogue on that whole thing too. I wanna make it work for everybody, so.
Get it clarified.
Thank you. Other questions? Other comments? Anybody in the audience care to make a comment? I would entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion for approval of final plat for Emerald Bay plat 1.
Thank you. Second,
Second.
Tara, roll call, please.
Harris,
Yes.
Nate,
Yes.
Piper,
Yes.
Stecker,
Yes.
Boardman,
Yes.
Vice.
Yes.
Item 6D, approval of the final plat for Summercrest Plat 2. Bill?
Thank you. The owner and applicant in this case is DR Horton, and they're represented by Ryan Remling with Stubbs Engineering. The applicant is requesting approval of a final plat for residential subdivision located north of East Hillcrest Avenue and east of North Jefferson Way. This subdivision contains just over 7 acres in area. It's currently zoned planned unit development, so different areas of the plat have different setback requirements, and those have all been indicated correctly on the final plat. So this plat identifies 23 lots for single family residential development. The lots range in size from 6,000 square feet up to just over 18,000 square feet in area. All lots meet or exceed those requirements of the PUD district and the underlying R2 district. As I noted in the staff report, PUD lots are 8 through 13, 19 through 23, and then lots 1 through 7 and 14 through 18 are not subject to those PUD requirements. The plat includes an extension of North 7th Street from Summercrest Plat 1 to Quail Meadows Plat 5. So we'll talk about it a little bit later. The next item on our agenda is the plat to the north. So the street will be extending to the north through town. 5-foot sidewalks will be installed with the individual lot development. Stormwater detention will occur in this outlot in the northeast corner, and that will be owned and maintained by the association. All easements have been shown on the final plat. All comments have been addressed. This will go to council at the next meeting and then get recorded shortly thereafter. This final plat is in conformance with our subdivision ordinance and our comprehensive plan. So we do recommend approval of this final plat. Happy to take any questions. I'm not sure if anyone is on Zoom for this one or not.
Are there any questions? Any comments from, no? Okay. You're the only audience left. I thought I'd better ask.
Throw me a softball. Just kidding.
A motion. Anybody want to make a motion?
I will make a motion that we recommend approval of the final plat for Summercrest 2.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. Tara, roll call.
All right, Wordeman,
Yes.
Vice,
Yes.
Stecker,
Yes.
Barris,
Yes.
Piper,
Yes.
Nate.
Yes.
Item 6E, approval of final plat for Quail Meadows Plat 5.
Thank you again. The applicant and owner in this case is Steger Construction Incorporated, represented by John Hanson with Snyder and Associates. And they are requesting approval of a final plat for residential subdivision located just north of Summercrest Plat 2. They're east of North Jefferson Way. This parcel contains 7.60 acres and is currently zoned R2. The plat identifies 15 lots for single-family residential construction. The lots range in size from 11,577 square feet up to just over 38,000 square feet in area. So, of course, all lots meet or exceed the minimum requirements by quite a bit. The plat includes an extension of North 7th Street from Quail Meadows down to Summercrest Plat 2, and then, of course, 5-foot sidewalks will be installed with individual lot development. Site will be serviced with all public utilities, and stormwater detention was addressed with the previous Quail Meadows plat, so there's nothing to do with this one. It drains to the north, I believe, and then goes into a basin up there. Staff recommends approval of the final plat for Quail Meadows Plat 5, subject to remaining staff comments. Would you take any questions? Also, I'm not sure if John Hanson is on the call.
Questions? Nope. How about a motion?
Make a motion to approve as submitted.
Thank you.
Second.
Is there a second? Thank you. Tara, roll call, please.
Piper,
Yes.
Nate,
Yes.
Vice,
Yes.
Stecker,
Yes.
Wordeman, yes, Barris.
Yes. Current projects,
Oh, before I get there.
down to 7A. Oh, you have something else?
Yeah, at the last meeting, you had asked about the trail from Ashton Park Plat 8 down to the McVeigh Trail. It was shown on the final plat and it just wasn't labeled. We had the legal documents for it, so I confirmed with Jerry's Homes and then a CEC, Civil Engineering Consultants, that trail is supposed to be there, and it will be, there will be an easement for it. So everything is in order as you wanted confirmation on that at the last meeting. So I just wanted to clarify that before
Thank
we
you.
move
And
on.
that'll hook in once the city extends the trail on to that level,
Yeah.
to that point, yeah. Okay, thank you.
I know tonight was a pretty short meeting, but I hope you find it helpful bringing final plats and you bring up good points with the dedication and things like this. Hopefully you find it a little bit useful bringing final plats, even though historically you haven't really heard many of them. And then they go right to the consent agenda on council. So helps me, hopefully it helps you guys too. And any questions for me?
Anything else about current projects?
I feel really close to wiping a lot of them off my desk. Comments are pretty minimal on quite a few projects. I feel pretty comfortable that a lot of them will be approved pretty soon. So nothing real in particular. Quick Star was heard and approved at council last night. So I'll be looking to get that final approval pretty soon. Ashton Park Plat 8 I'll take that to the recorder's office tomorrow to get that recorded. But it's a lot of the same things that you just heard at the last two meetings, the Wesley Life and then the 6 from the last meeting. So I don't have any other really updates.
Any question for the commissioners? Nope. I'd entertain a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion to adjourn.
There we go.